Rashid Wallace says 2004 Pistons would have beat 2017 Warriors. Draymond Green fires back. The 2004 Detroit Pistons was one of the greatest defensive teams the NBA has ever seen, and it won them a title. The 2017 Golden State Warriors were the peak of a four-title dynasty, the first year Kevin Durant joined to form a true super team. Rashid Wallace from those Pistons, a roster led by Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton, said on the Sheed and Tyler podcast that his Detroit team could beat the 2017 Warriors. Draymond Green took to social media to disagree. We would have smacked y'all. Y'all was scoring 72 points per game. That's not winning a half. And we putting you and them big-ass forces in every pick and roll. Let's see you move them feet. That one ring was great though, big bro. We all appreciated it. The problem comparing teams across eras in the NBA is the game was officiated differently. Are we playing 2004 rules with hand-checking and much more physicality allowed on defense, and no zone allowed? Or 2017 rules when any contact on the perimeter was a foul? Each team is better built for their era. That said, sorry Sheed, but I'll take the Warriors in 5 in that series. As great as the Pistons' defense was, Stephen Curry and Durant formed an unstoppable offense, and that Warriors team could handle physicality better than people think. Former All-Star feels Stephen Curry is not a generational talent. What makes a generational talent? Former NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas feels an athlete whose physical traits can't be mimicked would fit the criteria for such a talent. Since Stephen Curry, 6 feet 2 inches and 185 pounds, isn't gifted with remarkable physical tools, he doesn't quite make Arenas' cut of what constitutes a generational talent. Steph is not a generational talent, Arenas said on his Gills Arena podcast. You know what a generational, Wemby, Victor Wembanyama, is a generational person. Generational means you can't mimic it. Can you mimic Magic Johnson, 6 feet 9 inches point guard with the vision?
No.
You can't mimic Shaquille O'Neal's body. You can't mimic LeBron James. You can't mimic Wemby. Those are generational. They come around once every few decades. Arenas believes there have been only 5 or 6 generational talents in history. To that end, he didn't name Michael Jordan or Larry Bird on his list since neither player was genetically superior to their peers. Somebody like Giannis Antetokounmpo is tweaking, Arenas continued. Like Nikola Jokic is not a generational talent. He's just a great basketball player. Curry is a great basketball player. Generational is something that's once every 20. When it comes, you're like, damn. Arenas added that one has to be a freak of nature to be viewed as a generational talent. The discussion was sparked after Arenas said Heat president Pat Riley lucked out by inheriting several generational talents to win his several championships as head coach/executive. By Arenas' definition, Curry doesn't fit the criteria of a player who can't be mimicked, since no player before or after him has been able to shoot the ball the way he does. Trae Young did try. That said, Arenas also has a valid point since Curry isn't blessed with any physical advantages over his peers. It definitely makes for an interesting water cooler discussion. Highlight reels of Kyrie Irving giving the Golden State Warriors problems. I've heard a lot of dialogue about the greatest backcourt of all time, after Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving dominated the Western Conference bracket on the way to clinching a playoff berth. And I've also heard a lot about Irving's 4th finals appearance. This will be his first time against a non-Golden State Warriors team, and Dub Nation has plenty of scars to show for his brilliant play. I've taken the liberty to compile some choice highlights of Kyrie versus the Warriors over his career, from Cleveland to Boston to Brooklyn. I'm glad I get to watch him do his thing without it directly affecting the team I was born and raised to root for. This was the game where I really started to wonder if Kyrie Irving was a human being or a sentinel sent from the future back to 2016 just to spoil the Splash Brothers dynasty. This man was legitimately unstoppable. It didn't matter who the Dubs put on him. He was going to score in the most brilliant and soul-crushing way possible. Oh yeah, and LeBron James put up 41 points in this 1-2 SMH. I know the history books will say the Golden State Warriors completely destroyed the Cavaliers in the 2017 finals in 5 games. But don't forget that Kyrie put up a vintage performance at home in Game 3 to try to will the Cavs back into a series that the Warriors were hellbent on sweeping. If you wondered if Brooklyn Kyrie gave it to the Warriors too, Here's some highlights for you to peruse because the answer is yes, he did.